All right, guys, take a look at this thing. This thing is a beast. This is a fat tire, full suspension, foldable e-bike. It's made by Milestar. It's called the Burchda R5 Pro, and we're gonna learn everything we need to know about it, so let's get into it. The Burchda R5 Pro is a Class 3 e-bike, and it's shipped to you as a Class 3 e-bike, and Milestar says that it'll do 30 miles an hour via the half-twist throttle or the 5 levels of pedal assist. This bike also comes in 2 different colors. You have this nice looking gray right here, and you also have this sexy muted green color. It only comes in one size, and the ideal rider height is 5'4" to 6'5". Now, this bike weighs 74 pounds, but it has a payload capacity of 400 pounds. Currently, this bike sells for $14.99. Now, if you go to their website and use this discount code right here, you can save $100, but that ends on July 1st. Anytime after that, well, just use Scott50 to save $50 off this bike. Milestar claims that the Burchda R5 Pro can do 45 to 50 miles using pedal assist. Now, if you've seen any of my reviews, you know that we're gonna test this out today, but I use throttle and pedal assist and full speed, so we're gonna see how far we can actually get on this bike. The R5 Pro uses a 750 watt brushless geared motor. It has a peak of 1,000 watts and 85 Newton meters of torque. The transmission is an 8-speed Shimano transmission. It also has the Shimano Tourney derailleur on it and my favorite, Shimano trigger shifters. For stopping power, the R5 Pro uses the Diaslund 2-piston hydraulic brake system, and it has 160 millimeter rotors on the front and also on the rear of the bike. The battery is a 48 volt, 16 amp hour, 768 watt hour battery. It fits right into this down tube, and the cool part is you don't have to unfold it to charge it. There is a charging port right there. The charger is a 54 volt, 2 amp hours, and they say that it only takes 4 to 5 hours to charge this bad boy. This front fork system is serious. This thing is a beast. It's a double crown system, and it has 114 millimeters of play. Check out these massive 26 by 4 inch tires. They're chow wang tires. They have an aggressive tire pattern on them, and they're puncture resistant. Since this is a full suspension bike, it comes with a rear shock. This thing has about 50 millimeters of play. Now, I don't know anything about the company that makes this shock, but we're gonna find out today and see how good it works. Additional features include metal fenders. You have metal pedals right here. You have this monster, thick looking big rack. That's gonna hold about 55 pounds. It's not marked on there, but I've reviewed enough bikes to know that that should be about 55 pounds. You have a quick release down here. You have an adjustable stem, and this is a pretty good looking padded seat. Folding this bike isn't that bad. Now, this bike right on its own extended out to 79 inches, but we wanna fold it so we can put it in storage or put it in a car. You're just gonna pull this lever back. I'm not that good at unfolding these big bikes, so let's see how I do. We're gonna lean the bike forward a little bit, and then we're just gonna, I think I've got this thing figured out. And that way, it's pretty simple. Look at that. Yeah. 42 inches when it's folded, which I think is pretty small for such a big bike. Now, one thing I have an issue with is it's cool that there's this light back here and you just hit this button to turn it on, and it has 2 modes. It has this flashy mode or a solid mode. But the bad part is let's say you go to move the bike and you just grab it. Well, you hit this button, or at least I hit this button all the time. Last night I moved this bike and this was left on in the flashing position all night because of the way I grabbed it to get it into position. So you're gonna have to watch out whenever you move this bike. If you grab it by the seat, well, you gotta check back here to make sure that light's not turned on. A security feature that they have on this bike is that it takes a key to start it, and the key slot is right underneath here. You're gonna put it in there, you're gonna make a partial turn, and now we have power to the bike. Whenever you're done riding it, you're just gonna unclick it, pull the key out, and if somebody steals it, well, it's not gonna do them any good because they cannot power up the bike. When you turn the battery onto the bike, it also turns on the headlight and the tail light. Cockpit Operations. Now, when you're looking at the bike on this left-hand side, well, you have this grip, and it's like a kind of a really hard, it's more of a stronger, harder rubber than it is soft. It does have this small palm rest right here, so we're gonna see how well that works on long trips. You have your headlight button here, which will turn the headlight on and off. You have a horn. Oh, that's pretty loud. Here is your control panel. Once the battery is turned on, well, you're just gonna hit the power button and the display lights up. It is a full color display. It has red, blue, white. I don't know if that's full color, but it's 3-color. Either way, it looks good. Here's the battery indicator up here. As you can see, we have full power. This tells you the speed in miles per hour. This tells us how many miles we've gone on a trip. Our levels of pedal assist, right there's one, so you're gonna use these right here to up your pedal assist levels. Right there. Go back down. If you want to change out what's going on the screen, where you're just gonna hit the M button real quick, and that changes it out to right there. It shows your average speed, your max speed, and then if you hit the power button real quick, it switches out different things down here at the bottom, where we're seeing our time that you've been riding, and your odometer and things like that. So it does have a lot of different functionality with it. Now, if you hold down the plus button, let's say it's nighttime and it's starting to get dark, if you hold down the plus button, well, the screen dims and it also shows you that your headlight's on. Whenever the headlight is on, so is your tail light. They're also on during the daytime, or basically anytime the bike is on, but you can turn them off just by hitting this button right here. When you're in this version right here, we'll just hold the plus button again and it brightens up the screen again and turns the headlight off. Now you have control of your headlight again by just hitting the button off and on. Just note that your tail light is not a brake light. So whenever you hit the brakes, it's not gonna get any brighter. On the right side here, you have a half of a grip because this other half here is your half twist throttle. So that is what's gonna pull you forward without pedaling. Here is your trigger shifters. This tells you what gear you're in, and this is your rear brake lever. Now that we've gone through all of the specs on this Burchda R5 Pro, well, you know what time it is. It's time to take it out and abuse this bike to see how well it does in the different situations that I put it through. So right now we're seeing how easy this bike is to ride without any power. Let me kick it down to 3rd gear. There we go. That feels comfortable. So I'm in 3rd gear, moving about 10 miles an hour. There's no power to the bike. Oop, and I have this little hill coming up. Let's see how we do. Ooh, a lot of people in the way. Yep, people everywhere. You know, with this bike being 74 pounds, yeah, you're gonna put some effort in pedaling it, but that's how it is with all e-bikes. Well, at least any of the big fat tire bikes that I test. So we're doing like 7 miles an hour now. We were doing that, going up that little hill. But 8 miles an hour looks like what you can do comfortably with this bike with no power on. Now we're going to do the throttle test, and this is where we're going to test to see if the throttle is dictated by whatever pedal assist level you're in. So we're going to put it in pedal assist level 1, and we're going to see how fast the throttle is going to take us on this. So the power assist does dictate how fast the throttle is going to take you. So we're in pedal assist 1, the throttle's taking us to 9 miles an hour. Let's try pedal assist 2. Pedal assist 2, we're at 13 miles an hour. All right, pedal assist 3. Pedal assist level 3, we're doing 17 miles an hour. Let's try pedal assist number 4. 22 miles an hour with pedal assist number 4. Let's go for pedal assist number 5. So it looks like we're getting 26 miles an hour on throttle only. That's within being in pedal assist number 5. We are ready to do the pedal assist only test. We're putting it in pedal assist number 1. I have it in gear 4, and let's see how fast we go. So you have to crank like almost 2 full rotations before it kicks in. But we are cruising at 10 miles an hour. In pedal assist level 1, let's try 2. 13 miles an hour in pedal assist level 2. Pedal assist level 3. Pedal assist level 3, we're on 18 miles an hour. Let's go to pedal assist level 4. I decided to turn around. There's a lot more people going the other way. All right, we're in pedal assist level 4. And we're doing 21 miles an hour in pedal assist level 4. Let's try pedal assist level 5. So we're in pedal assist level 5. We're doing 26 miles an hour. I'm in gear 8, and there is 0 ghost pedaling. Well, they said it would do 30 miles an hour, so it looks like they're off just a little bit. Unless the speedometer is off. I guess we'll find out here in a second. As you can see here, the display is accurate. It shows that we're doing 26 miles an hour on both the display here. Well, on both the display here and the GPS. We are here to do the 0 to 20 speed test using throttle only. I have it in pedal assist 5 because that's what we need it to be to go the fastest, and we're going to hit the start button and let's go. We do have some delay in here, but ooh. 11 seconds. Once this, it takes a minute for this thing to start going, but once it's going, you're gone. This is the 0 to 20 pedal assist only, and I put it in pedal, it's still in pedal assist level 5. I did drop it down to the 4th gear so I can take off quicker. And let's see, reset this, and right when I hit start, I'm going to be cranking start. Okay. And that's 1 full rotation and almost 2 full rotations. So we are moving at full capacity. And that was 10 seconds. So it didn't take long at all for you to hit 20 miles an hour. I mean, that's pretty quick. It does have that delay with the pedal assist and the throttle, but I don't think that matters too much. It's just that once you're gone, you are moving. Let's talk about size and fit. This is how I have it set up for me. I find it totally comfortable with these settings. This adjustable stem can come up or back a little bit more into a 60-degree position. This seat, let's take it down to the lowest for our shorter riders, and that's what that would look like. And then we'll bring it up to our highest setting. Oh, and it has markings back here, nice. So once you get set, you can remember where you were at, which is good. Unfortunately, I didn't look before I pulled it up, so. And that is the highest setting for the seat. Go ahead and put this down to what I think might be my setting. Here, we'll just start it off at 10. We can make adjustments during the ride. There we go, smack it into place. Same thing with this bike as with others. I have to get it in the garage by lifting it up and bringing it up on one wheel. This bike is tall, like taller than me. I am 69 inches, and this bike is 79 inches. So that's what that looks like when I put it in the garage. So far, the suspension and stuff seems to be working. These front forks are working really well. I'm getting a little bit of creaking from somewhere, and I just think that maybe one of these points here need a little bit of grease or a little bit of love, but it only happens every once in a while. It's not happening all of the time. So let's get out there and let's go on to our next test. We are here to do the brake test. Okay, so we have it in pedal assist 5. We're gonna use throttle. We're gonna use pedal assist. We're gonna pedal. We're gonna go as fast as we possibly can before we hit the mark and see how quick this bike stops. I mean, with the little I've ridden it, I already like the brakes, so let's go. Oh, these brakes are awesome. I never heard of this company before, but the brakes are great. All right, let's see how far we went. 38 feet, well, I mean, it's just a heavy bike, you know? It's stopping, but it's just a heavy bike. As always, I like to do the brake test twice, and let's go. It stopped at the same distance, and that's good. At least you know what you're going to get out of these brakes when you're just hauling butt. Today's weather here in Chicago is kind of freaking me out. We're like 62, so at one moment I'm wearing a coat, and then I get too hot, and then I have to take it off. So you're going to see that on and off throughout the video. Yeah, here we go. Little off-road action, which this thing is obviously not going to have any issues with at all. This bike came with like 4 gifts. It came with a mirror, and it came with a lock, a phone holder. Actually, I think it came with 2 mirrors. And I went ahead and just put my bar end mirror on because, well, it was there, and it's pretty simple to put on. Plus, I'm used to it. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time trying to adjust and figure it out. And then I added my Cycle Torch Shark 500 because I like the blinking pattern that it has for my daytime running light. So the motor on this thing is pretty quiet, and so are the tires. I mean, the tires obviously make noise, but you know, this, I've been on some bikes and just reviewed some that are way louder than this. Now you can hear the bike when it's like winding up. You can hear that part in the motor. Well, I mean, I guess you can with all the other ones as well, or most of them. I do have some super quiet ones, but just after you've just hear that beginning part, I mean, you're just cruising. Everything else is just hearing tires. this bike rips, man. Look, I know I get excited about every bike, but every bike is like cool. There's something cool about every bike. You know, I wasn't too sure on how this bike would be when I first saw it on the riding part of it, because I reviewed a bike with this kind of a build and shape before, and you know, it didn't ride near as well. But this one's riding good. I mean, we're on this little back country part here. I don't hear any rattling or anything like that. Yeah, and I feel the middle suspension, it's working. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's not great, but it is working. It's better than not having it, I can tell you that for sure. Coming for the jump. Oh, yeah, see, look at that. That wasn't bad at all. We are here for the hill climb test. I don't expect this bike to have any issue at all doing this. I have it in pedal assist level 5, full throttle. Let's go. So you do have that delay when you take off though. But yeah, that's what I thought. I figured we would just be moving right up this thing. We're doing about 9-10 miles an hour and it feels like it wants to go faster, but it pulled the whole way, like no issue at all. And that's what I thought it would do. But you know what? I'm wondering, let's see how it does in pedal assist level 1. All right, we've dropped it down into pedal assist 1. And let's see what it would take to make it up this hill. I mean, we're not getting near as much power. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh my. What? Yes. This bike is like, here, hold my beer. Let me show you that it can happen. All right, I'm doing it in the lowest pedal assist level that there is. So this thing is, I told you it was a beast, and it just proved it. Now we get to do the fun part where we just cruise around. One thing on this display though, I don't know if you guys can see it, and I really hope that you can, is that it shows you the amount of power that you're putting out as you're torquing, and it does it in these white bars, and the white bars turn into red, and that is a pretty cool feature, I think. It's just a quick visualization that where you can just glance down real quick and just see where you're at. These front shocks are awesome. We're just ripping over speed bumps like it's no big deal. At first, I thought these grips were going to be a little bit too small. And what I mean by that is just these palm rest parts. But nope, they are good to go. Yeah, the delay is one of those things you're going to have to get used to with this bike. When it comes to the just using the throttle, you'll get a delay before it takes off. And the same thing with your pedal assist. I think I even had to turn like 3 rotations, it felt like, before that kicked in. Oh, wow. We are down to 2 bars of battery, and the display is showing that we've done 9 miles. We're going to check it here at Strava in a second and do a mileage check. But I have a feeling this is going to be one of those displays when it comes to the voltage. It's going to bounce up and down, leaving me wondering how much distance I can really go. Strava shows that we are 10.6 miles into this ride and we're down to 2 bars of battery. Now the display shows that we have 9.6 miles of travel, so it's exactly 1 mile off. Now I don't think I'm going to be able to make it out to Lakeshore Drive today without having to ride this bike a long way to make it back home. And I've been doing a lot of that recently, so we're gonna make it part way there, and then we're gonna turn around. So let's see how it does. One of the great things about having an 8-speed transmission on a bike that does over 20 miles an hour is that there's no ghost pedaling. Like, everything feels great about this bike. Right now I'm cruising at like 23 miles an hour. I'm totally fine. Things are working great. This bike rides really nice. The battery level has been down to 1 for quite a while. So I stopped here to do a battery check. It's showing that 15 miles has been on the display and 15.52. So it seems like the longer you ride, the closer the speedometer is going to get. But then, of course, it bounced up to 2 levels of battery power. So it looks like we're riding longer, which is great. I mean, I would love to get over like 22 to 23 miles on this bike after what the abuse that I've already put it through. So the battery had jumped back up to 2 bars, and then I was cruising down the road a little bit, and then it went from 2 to 1 to 0, all within the matter of seconds. And at this point, I'm like, uh-oh, I better turn around and get closer to home. And we are back to 2 bars again, but I do not trust it, so I'm going to make sure I stay close to home
even though this bike is super easy and it is fun to ride while I have battery power, I've just been doing too many reviews where I've had to ride these bikes for miles without battery power, and it is not fun, and it kills my knee. This is Chicago traffic on a Friday. This is why I prefer to ride a bike. Well, not for stuff like that, but as long as you get your head on a swivel and you're not on your phone, you'll be able to see stuff like that when it happens, and it's not a big deal. Realistically, I didn't think this bike was going to be as fun as it is. I don't know why, but I just didn't. Right now I'm using throttle only, and we show no bars on the battery, but I don't believe that. We're going to see it'll probably bounce back here in a second, but if not, doing these tests, even though these bounce up and down, with you knowing how far I'm able to get on it, should be able to help you guys figure out how far you can go before your battery runs out. And this is with me just using throttle only. I know throttle only takes up more work and more battery. I went ahead and switched to just pedal assist. I'm not using the throttle at all. And of course, 1 bar pop right back up.
Now I was at 22.16 miles. That's what the display showed me when I lost assist to the bike. Now the bike display was still on and it started to flash this 08 code. Now I didn't have the error code book with me, but I'm pretty sure that the 08 meant that the battery was discharged. And at that point, I'm just going to make it home for my final thoughts.
We have made it back. Now Strava shows that we did 22.36 miles before we ran out of battery power, and that also seemed to match up a little bit off with the display. So the display was just a little bit behind with 22.36. The bike itself, I mean, I really like it. I think it did very well. And what I did is I waited till later tonight, because when that 08 code showed up and I got back here to the house, I double checked the user's guide to see what kind of troubleshooting codes they had. And they don't have a troubleshooting code section. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to charge up the battery to make sure that that 08 code actually meant that the battery was discharged. It did. I charged the bike up. It's fine. It rides totally fine now. So that was the actual code for a battery being discharged. The things that I like, well, I like a lot about this bike. I actually do. I like it more than what I thought I would, to be honest. I didn't think the seating position was going to be good, but this seat is I mean, it felt just fine for the trip. The grips also fine. I might possibly change them out, but for most of the riding, yeah, it was totally good. Now, there's some things that I wasn't a huge fan of, which was this display, which I'm kind of surprised because it was full color, and I thought, oh, this thing's going to look great. But because it's hard to see in cloudy weather, I'm pretty sure it's going to be really hard to see in sunny weather as well. Another thing I don't like is this light on the back, right? I don't like the fact that every time I move the bike, I'm hitting this light on. I just think if you have this bike, just go ahead and take the battery out of this and you'll be fine. You won't have to worry about it turning on its own. But the seat itself feels really good. I didn't think I was going to get the mileage that I got out of this bike when we first started. So I'm not a huge fan of, you know, how the voltage fluctuation goes, but now you guys kind of know. So hopefully my trip helps you to kind of determine how far you can go on this bike if you decide to abuse it the way that I did during this test. The motor does make noise when you start to take off, whether it be in throttle or using pedal assist. You kind of hear like this kind of grind up. You probably heard it during the review, and that's just kind of how this motor is. So I've had other bikes that have made that sound before, but once it gets going, it's totally quiet, which is how this bike was. So although it's not a, you know, a Bafang motor, and it does make some noise in the beginning, I found no issue with the performance I was getting out of it. So there we go. Now we have gone over all the aspects of the Burchda R5 Pro. And if you're interested in it, well, go ahead and click my link below. As I mentioned in the beginning, that they have a $100 discount going on right now. So if you just go to the link below and it's before July 1st, well, you're going to get that discount. If it is past the date that they're doing the $100 discount, well, go ahead, use my code SCOTT50 to save yourself $50 off this bike. If you haven't seen my assembly video on this bike, well, go ahead. It's going to be right there. And that's where you're going to see the different gifts that they also give away with this bike and how easy it is to assemble. So I thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along. And until I see you again, enjoy the ride.